channel. My name is Jingyi. This is episode number 6 of my knitting podcast. This is a monthly episode where I share about everything that I finished and working on in the past month. So it's been a quite busy month for me in terms of work and life, but I found myself knit quite a lot, and I'm surprised to find that I have 3 finished objects to share today, along with 2 work in progress and a bigger than usual acquisition part. So without further ado, let's get started. So I will start with what I'm wearing today. This is the Augusta lace scarf. It's my first finished object of this month. It's designed by Helms. I really like this design because the pattern gives you 3 different size options. The first one is a tiny little scarf with finished length of 85 centimeters. And the second size option is a slightly longer scarf that you can wrap around your neck twice. The finished length will be 125 centimeters. And the third size option is a headband. I think it's about 45 centimeters in length, plus 2 I-cord strings in the end. So I think this is a versatile pattern and a great stash buster pattern as well. I also really like the lace design in this pattern. All the lace are charted, and I like the look of it as a finished object. I will put a picture over here. I really like the vertical line across this thin scarf that formed by twisted stitch, and there are also little eyelets all around that just makes this whole lace piece more elegant. And yeah, this is just a impulsive cast on because even though I'm screaming for spring, the weather here in California is just a little bit cold than I expected. So I found that my neck will get a little bit cold when wearing a V-neck or sometimes a lower crew neck even. So I really need something to keep my neck really warm. I knitted a similar scarf before. It was the I Love Stripe Bandana by Susan Muller. I gifted my mom that scarf, but I found that little scarf really practical. So I always wanted to knit myself a little scarf. But I don't really want a triangular shaped scarf because I found that a little bit hard to tie the knot in the front if it's not long enough. And that bandana was knitted with a fingering weight gauge, I think. So even though I try to tie the knot in the front, the knot itself is quite bulky. So this time I try to use a lace weight fabric. The yarn that I use is Muskox Majestic Blend, I think, from Windy Valley Muskox. If you are a viewer from like my first few episodes, you will know how much I love this yarn. I got this yarn when I was traveling to Canada, and I bought it in the Banff National Park. And this yarn contains 80% of merino wool, 15% of the very special Qiviuk fiber, and 5% of silk, if my math is correct. So this yarn is just so soft and so drapey. It's just perfect for knitting like little scarves. So last time I used this yarn held in double to create a fingering weight fabric for the I Love Stripe Bandana. And this time I just want to knit something light for the spring, so I only used 1 strand of this to create a lace weight fabric. So I think this pattern calls for fingering weight as well. It suggested to use 1 strand of knitting for olive merino wool plus their silk mohair. So I think this is a fingering weight or DK even fabric. I tried with 1 strand of the Qiviuk, and I sized down my needle to use US size 1. I didn't check my gauge, but I tried to use up all the scraps I have, and I think I'm pretty happy with the result. It is as lightweight as I wanted, but the Qiviuk also gives it so much warmth. So I'm really happy with this finished object. And I think this is not the last Augusta lace scarf that I'm gonna knit. I actually have another color of this Qiviuk yarn left. I think the colorway is 5014. This is also the Qiviuk Majestic Blend with the same fiber content. This is just a really pretty brick brown color. Last time I used these two colors together to create the stripes in the bandana, and I think I have much more left in this brick color. So I might knit the bigger size in this pattern, and I cannot wait to cast this on. Yeah, so that's the only little thing I'm wearing today. That's handmade. This cardigan is a store-bought cardigan. So you know, I just love wearing cardigans. Even though on the days I'm not wearing a hand-knit cardigan, I'm definitely wearing a store-bought cardigan. So that comes to the second finished objects of this month, and that's my Moodiversary Slipover. It's quite damp, I'm still blocking it, but you can see it as a finished object. I think the last time I showed it was still missing all the ribbons for the neck and armhole, but it was very quick to add them on. And I got the yarn pattern as a advent calendar for Christmas, but I didn't got to finish it during that time. But I still think this is a very perfect spring piece to add a warm layer on top. I love this color combination. The earthy tone is a great match with everything else in my wardrobe. And I also like this smiley face motif. It's very playful and very different from everything else in my wardrobe, but I'm glad that this color still match. This is a button-up pattern with all over color work, and I sew the shoulder part together at the end, pick up the armhole and neck for the ribbing in the end. And the only modification I did was I modified the neck to be a V-neck. It was a crew neck before, but I don't like the look of crew neck slipover. I think V-neck slipover just easy to layer. Comparing with crew neck, you can fit different type of colors underneath. So I think I like my modification, but I also realized that after picking up stitches for the ribbing, the V-neck part just gets a little bit smaller than I wanted, but I definitely don't have the energy to rip back maybe most of the color work part to fix this. So I will just take it as what it is. So as you see, I haven't weaving any of the ends yet. I normally wait until the blocking is done and then I will weaving the ends. So the ends won't come out as the fabric grew a little bit during blocking. And I haven't tried on after blocking, so I don't have a picture of the fitting to show you here, but you can follow me on my Instagram. I will definitely post a picture over there. The yarn that I use is Peruvian Highland from Filcolana, and it's 100% non-superwash Peruvian Highland wool. I think it's an Aran weight, where each ball has 15 grams and gives you 100 meters. I think this wool is really great for color work. It's soft yet has a sturdy feeling, and the finished object is quite light. So I really like this yarn, and I'm very happy that I got a bunch left. Actually, I have at least one for each color, so it will be great for maybe some color work hat. I'm not sure, but if you have any pattern recommendations, please let me know. I am really excited to have a color work accessory or something that matches with my slipover. And my next finished object is my Eros socks. It's in my project bag. Oh wait, I don't think I actually finished it yet. I thought I finished it, but my memory is wrong. I actually only finished one sock, and the second sock just need the Kitchener stitch finish. Oh, so this is actually a work in progress, but it will be very quick. Like, it won't take me more than 5 minutes for the finishing, and I will have a new pair of socks. Yeah, so this is just a vanilla sock, and I used a very special yarn. This is Perfect Must Match from Mustache Yarn, and the colorway is Eros. If you are a Swiftie, you know what that means. So each stripe corresponds to one era or one album by Taylor Swift. And I got it as a Christmas present from my sock store partner Christine. I had so much fun working on this yarn. These two socks just go so quickly, and I normally won't knit the legs this long because I like to keep things short so I can finish things very quickly. But this is definitely an exception. I knitted, I think, maybe 20 or 30 rounds for the leg, which is quite a lot because I just wanted to knit one stripe for each area before I start the heel, and that gives me a especially long leg. Anyways, I love it, and they just go by so quickly because counting on the errors and expecting the next error is just so fun. And I really like the way that this yarn has two separate balls. After you wind up, you will get two exact same balls. If you central pull from them and use one ball for each socks, you will get a perfectly matched socks in the end. I really like this feature, so you don't have to manually match anything, and you'll just get a perfect must-match sock in the end. So yeah, I will finish the Kitchener stitch very soon and start wearing it. And I still have a lot of yarn left for each ball, which I think will be enough for knitting another pair. I might cast that on very soon as well. Yeah, so that's all of my finished objects, even though the last one is very close to be done. And then we can move to my work in progress. The first work in progress is my May ball wrap. It's a design by Florence, and it's my first test knit, so I will show you my progress. So I have a lot done. I think the last time I showed you, if my memory is correct, I only started on the back and have a little strap for the back. But this time I already finished the body, the front two panels. Oh, and this is a wrap cardigan, so it's a bit hard to show, and especially with the needles all around. It's a wrap cardigan, and I also have one sleeve finish as well. And I'm currently working on the double knitting band, so it's a long journey for me. I think I still have 1 week left for this cardigan. We need to finish at least one sleeve, and I think the double knitting band as well. So I think I will try my best to finish that. As I said, this is my first time doing test knit. It's really fun to provide suggestions and look at other people's knitting together. It's almost like a mini knit along. I've never participated in a knit along before, so it's a really fun experience. So the yarn that I'm using, let me show you. So I'm using actually 3 strands of yarn together to meet the gauge. I'm using 2 strands of this 100% cashmere yarn that I got from China. This yarn is really cheap, so I'm suspicious that's actually cashmere, but it feels really soft. And I'm combining it with a strand of alpaca silk. This is from Valley Yarn, and I got it from Webs. So this is a exceptionally large cake because I wound up this big ball from a cone. The cone looks already very small, and at that time I was on a skiing trip. I just want to bring this piece with me, but the cone was a little bit too large, so I'm thinking maybe I should wound it up as a little ball, but it ended up this huge, and I already knit on it for a week. It's still huge, so I didn't actually save up much space in the end. Yeah, but it's definitely more convenient working from a ball that you can central pull. So I just put these 3 balls in the tote that I can always pull from. Yeah, the fabric it creates is like this. So the cashmere yarn is a very pretty blue, while the alpaca silk is a cool tone gray. So I was actually not sure if this combination is right when looking on the gauge. But since I have more fabric and I could like try it on, I really like this color. The light gray doesn't blend in with the blue yarn really well, but it kind of created a variegated effect that I found is really pretty, and it looks really good with any color of the pants or skirts I'm wearing. So this is just a very nice surprise. And in terms of the pattern is really clear, as Florence pattern always do. I really like the super long 7 centimeter ribbing at the end, and there will be a double knitting band finishing off. I think the 2 panels will be closed up and tied with a I-cord edge. I'm going to use my I-cord machine again. So I think this is a very beautiful design. I am really happy for this test knit, and yeah, I'll keep you posted once I have the finished objects. So my last work in progress is the Rubus Blouse Square neck version. It's a design by Refined Knitwear. So let me show you. This is how much I have. I only have a little bit. I didn't make much progress since my last upload about my spring knitting plans. I showed this piece at that time and it was still this small. Anyways, this cast on is for my spring knitting module, and I really like this pattern for a while. It's a really feminine looking square neck blouse with a really pretty puff sleeve and raglan shaping. And I'm using 2 strands of mohair. This is the mohair I'm using. This is mohair from Sarilla Yarn. It's their Taylor Swift Eras Tour collection in the colorway Enchanted. I really like this colorway, so I have 3 skeins of this mohair. The fabric knitted up was really soft. It's my first time knitting 2 strands of silk mohair together, and I always wanted to knit a short sleeve to wear. I'm really doubting if this fabric is practical enough, but it's just so good looking. I know there are many similar patterns available, like Knitting for Olive has a puff tee, I believe. It also knitted up with 2 strands of silk mohair held together. But I especially like this Rubus blouse because of the V-neck, but it's a little bit pity that this pattern only comes with 5 sizes, and I am knitting the smallest size. I normally knit the 2nd size in the pattern, but for people who are smaller than me, if your bust measurement is smaller than 88 centimeters, you will not find a size that matches with you. So it's a little bit pity about this pattern. And also this pattern is not available on Ravelry. I have to get it from their website. So these are the downsides of this pattern. And I think this pattern is not a very clearly written pattern as well. I am a bit confused with some of the wording, and I don't really like the format of this pattern because all the headings are in a thinner and smaller font than the rest of the body. It's still distinguishable as a separate section with the heading, but it's kind of reversed of what we normally read in the pattern, that the header will be in bulk and larger font. So I might be a little bit picky, but it's just my personal preference. So I won't 100% recommend this pattern. There are a lot of similar patterns, for example the Knitting for Olive puff tee one that I mentioned. But anyways, I will keep on knitting mine. I really like the yarn that I pick, but I really want to finish it soon and wear it in spring, even though it might be less practical than I wanted. We'll see. And next we're going to a big part of the acquisition. I honestly don't purchase this much of yarn in a month. I normally purchase yarn with a pattern in mind. I only do the purchase if I don't find a substitute in my stash and I have to purchase the yarn. But this time I am just very inspired by spring. That's my excuse. And also I was joining the Bay Area Yarn Call and I was able to visit many of my local yarn stores. So I kind of spoiled myself a little bit and bought a lot of yarn. So I purchased all of these yarns from my local yarn store, and I purchased them with a specific pattern in mind. So I know it's a lot of yarn than my normal episode, but I'm definitely gonna use them, and I know what pattern I'm gonna use for. And you might already see a part of this acquisition if you watch my previous uploads, but there is something new that I haven't showed yet. I will start with this yarn first. This is called Floating, and it's from my local yarn store called A Verb for Keeping Warm. And look at the color, it's just so pretty. I think the store dyes their yarn in the store itself with natural dyes, and this light purple is called Supernova, and the darker purple is called Thunderstone. So really beautiful names. The yarn is also very soft. It has 70% superfine alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. Each of them has 100 grams and 437 yards. So each of them is a fingering weight yarn, and I'm going to use them to knit the pressed flower shawl, which is a pattern I'm eyeing for a very long time. And I know I think it's a DK weight pattern, but in the store I saw example of a shawl knitted up with fingering weight yarn, and I really like the fabric knitted up, so I pick up these yarns. And yeah, I just got so happy looking at this color. And I think I'm kind of out of my blue phase now. I'm more in like purple and pink this spring. It's mostly because of spring. And well, I already put some of my yarn in the Ziploc, so sorry for the noise. The next yarn that I pick up is this. This is my first time picking up knitting for Olive from a local yarn store. And I've never tried knitting for Olive before. So this is knitting for Olive Pearl Silk. It's in the colorway Haze. It's a really pretty, maybe a little bit warm tone, light gray. And I actually don't have a pattern for it. And I know there's a bunch of patterns for like summer tees and camisoles that calls for this yarn. Yeah, so I definitely will use this yarn for a summer knitwear. And next, I pick up these silk mohair from Morocco yarn. I want to hold these two yarn together. Again, this is Sarita Yarn's hand-dyed collection. It's from their Taylor Swift Aristo collection. Colorway is Enchanted again. It's the classic sock base with 100% superwash merino wool. 100 grams give you 400 yards. So this is a fingering weight yarn with a very pretty purple and pink tone. And I just pick up this light pink silk mohair to pair it together. I'm thinking I might be able to knit a April cardigan or champagne cardigan with this yarn. I just want to knit some cardigan with plain stockinette stitch to really show up the beautiful color of this enchanted colorway. Yeah, and I think I'll cast this on pretty soon once I'm finished with my maple wrap as well. So I'll always have a pretty cardigan on my needle. This is again another very special yarn. Sorry for the noise. This is mondim from retrosaria, and the colorway is 209. This is my first time picking up mondim yarn from my local yarn store as well. I got this from Busywork Craft Supply. This store is in Martinez. It's not close to me at all, but they have a great selection of very unique yarns that's hard to find in the Bay Area. I know I have too many sock yarns probably, but I just want to pick up this because the color is so pretty. It reminds me of some chunky cookies that I'm craving for. I think it's a lie that I said every yarn I bought has a pattern in mind. Most of them actually don't. I'm thinking about a pair of socks, but we'll see. I'm not sure if this 100% Portuguese wool will be gentle on my feet. I heard this yarn is really hardy for socks, and I'm a little bit worried because this does not have any nylon content. I'm worried that I will wear the socks out very quickly, and I don't want to do that to this pretty color. So I also pick up these from the same yarn store. This is Manchelopis from the Wooldreams. And I got several big plates of this unspun yarn. I've never tried unspun yarn before. This will be my first time. And yeah, it's just really happy to touch and feel unspun yarn in a local yarn store. I think in each plate it has 100 grams and 230 meters. It already comes as 2 strand, I think. And I have a pattern in mind for this yarn. I want to knit the color cardigan by Anne Vansel. That was a very new release of her. I really want to knit that cardigan since the swatch showed up on my Instagram feed. I think it used mosaic colorwork technique that I've never tried before. And I'm not sure if the unspun will be strong enough when I'm trying out new colorwork technique. I know they are like easily broken, so I'm like half anxious, half exciting to work with this yarn. I pick up these, I think, from the Black Squirrels. This is the bamboo pop sock from Universal Yarn. It looks like this. The colorway is 620 Moon Dust. It's a very pretty dusty light blue. I found the fiber content really interesting. It has 55% of bamboo, 37% of cotton, and 8% of PBT. I'm not sure what is that. So I think it would be great for summer socks, and I'm curious to know like how the fabric knit up. So this ball is 100 grams, gives you 492 yards, so a little bit lighter fingering weight. I also pick up these. The bigger one is called Core from Gusto Wool. This is in colorway 1050. This is 80% merino wool and 20% nylon. This skein is 100 grams, gives you 400 meters. Fingering weight sock yarn, and this is a mini skein from Casey Knits. It's the Yak Sock Mini with 70% superwash merino, 20% yark, and 10% nylon. This is a 3-ply fingering weight sock yarn, and I want to use these two to knit the Tiptoe Through the Tulips sock by Stone Knits. It's a all-over colorwork socks with tulips through the tiptoe. And I think it's a really great socks pattern for spring. So I have several mini skeins in like pink and purple red tones that's suitable for the color of the tulip. So I'm thinking about using one skein or one color for each round of the tulip, and use this warm tone beige color as the base. So yeah, this will be the next socks I'm casting on. So yeah, that's a lot of yarn that I purchased recently, and a lot of commitments of stuff I'm going to make in front of the camera. And please don't blame me if I change my plan. Yeah, so I think that's everything for this episode. I hope you are enjoying whatever you are making, and please leave a comment down below to let me know like what you are working on right now. That will just give me so much fun and inspiration. And happy knitting, happy spring. Bye!